Hey guys, it's Coaster Cousins here, and we're back with another park review. Today we're going to be talking Adventureland. I'm with my cousins Luke and Logan. Say hi, guys.
Hey.
Hey.
So some of the first things we wanted to talk about, guys, was just how nice the park was and a little bit of a theme park review here. So I thought the park was extremely nice. It seemed pretty clean. I thought the food was pretty good. I thought the people working there were really nice. I thought dispatch times were really fast.
They were pretty good.
Some of them were under a minute. They were really good. Especially for Tornado and Outlaw, they were only running one train, and still dispatch times were like extremely fast. Do you guys have any thoughts on like the park?
Yeah, I was telling Jax yesterday, I think it's funny that old people, because a lot of older people work at Adventureland, can dispatch faster than like the 20-year-olds who work at Worlds of Fun. Because they were doing really good. They dispatched even the flat rides pretty fast.
The dispatch times were really good, guys. Like I said, the park was extremely clean. The food for a theme park, it wasn't awful.
It was pretty good, reasonably priced, so that's good.
Very well priced, very cheap. But, you know, obviously it's theme park food. It's not going to be the best, but it wasn't bad at all.
It wasn't bad.
Alright, guys, now off the boring stuff, we're going to talk about the roller coasters there. So, the first roller coaster we're going to be talking about is the Underground. Now, personally, I thought the Underground was extremely flat and boring. It had two separate lift hills, if I'm right, Logan?
Yeah.
And not a single, like, drop or anything.
It's, for me, I don't hate the Underground, it's just there's no point of it. Like, at least have a dip or something in it, but there's no hills at all. It's just going around with a bunch of weird theming and water splashing out of nowhere.
Yeah, I thought it would be kind of like a neat little, like, it's like a neat little children ride, but they could make it, like, a lot cooler. Like, they could have, like, a little, like, dip here and there, because I don't know if you guys have ever been on a dark ride, but they feel much faster and, like, much more, fun in the dark. So I mean, even if you're going that slow with like little dips here and there, they can make the ride 10 times better.
Yeah, the only thing that I mean, it is probably better than having like a wacky worm as a kiddie coaster. I mean, I guess I'd say it's a kiddie coaster. It's just I don't love the Underground. It's kind of weird.
It is weird. All right, next on to the next roller coaster we're gonna be talking about is the Dragon.
This thing was terrible. Like even worse than any other coaster I've ridden.
Yeah, this by far might be the worst roller coaster I've ridden. I now have 47 credits after this trip, and it's probably gonna be one of my least favorites. It's extremely rough. It's short. It's got an awful paint job. It's like an ugly roller coaster, and it's not very like it's just awful.
The restraints aren't comfortable.
The restraints are terrible.
The restraints are awful, yeah.
Yeah, they're like boomerang restraints, but even worse. Like they don't have any padding on them, so pretty much every time you hit your head and you like slam it against something. And the pre-lift section is the worst, because you go into these stupid little bunny hops that are painful, and then this stupid turn, which is the worst part of the entire ride.
The helix is painful, the loops are painful, it's all awful.
This whole ride is just painful.
Yeah,
and it's not even like fun. It's not even intense. Like the vertical loops, I hear from some people, oh, they're intense, and I guess they were kind of intense. But the vertical loops were even bad because like they're weirdly shaped. So when you go into them, you like hit your head on the restraints.
I do have one good thing to say about the Dragon was I like the theming.
The theming was pretty cool.
We'll have a video of like the castle that we go through for the Dragon.
It was actually pretty cool.
It was like amazing. Like I kind of liked it. It had like the little like night shields, and it had like names written in like almost like kind of like a font that made you feel like you're from like medieval times.
Yeah, but
it was really neat.
But other than that, there was nothing good about the Dragon. Like even the dispatch times were not that good.
Yeah, but they were only running one car. So the next roller coaster we want to talk about was the Tornado.
Me personally, I did not enjoy this ride. I think I got a bad ride on it because Luke and Jax, they liked it. But Tornado was really rough. It was not even fun, and there is no airtime at all.
Yeah, Logan doesn't like this. He almost likes the Underground better than the Tornado, if I'm right, Logan.
Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of sad.
But for me and Luke, and for the majority of our group when we went to Adventureland, thought it was fun. There is not a lot of airtime. It's kind of a slow roller coaster. But it's kind of like a classic Woody. It wasn't bad. I didn't think it was rough at all. I think Prowler at Worlds of Fun's more rough.
I definitely appreciate the classicness of it, but I think the reason why I hated it is because I got a ride that was way towards the back, and it was it was extremely rough. Every hill was just like, it wasn't as bad as Dragon, and Tornado was still kind of a cool ride because of how classic it is. But for me, it's still a pretty bad roller coaster.
Honestly, I think for a classic Woody, it wasn't rough, but I
didn't think it was rough at all, too. I mean, we might have just had better rides than you. We only went on it twice. some plus ones for the Tornado. The dispatch times I thought were good.
They were pretty good.
Not the best, but they only were running one train, so it wasn't awful.
Yeah.
The person that worked there, they never switched staff, so the one dude was working there the whole time.
He was really funny.
He was really funny. He would make jokes and stuff. He was a really nice guy, and that just kind of goes on to talk about how nice the staff was at Adventureland.
Yeah, and they definitely are enjoying their job. Like at Worlds of Fun, you can tell they hate their job kind of.
Yeah, the staff at the Dragon was not good though. That was kind of weird. One lady, not even joking, guys, she said she hated her job to us. So.
Yeah, I remember that.
I just think Dragon's a little bit of a downside to the park. I feel like it almost brings the whole park down.
Yeah. All right, next let's talk about Outlaw. This was my second favorite coaster at Adventureland.
Was mine too.
I expected it to be pretty bad because that's what I heard from a lot of people, but it was really fun. It's a GCI prototype. I'm pretty sure it was still by CCI though, and it had some decent airtime moments. It wasn't too rough, and it was a pretty good paced ride.
Yeah, it was very well paced. It did feel like a little bit. It felt like a GCI. But almost like a smaller one. I'd almost go to say it would be like a mini Prowler.
Yeah.
Or like a mini Mystic Timbers. It was a little bit more rough than Prowler and Mystic Timbers. But it was still a lot of fun. It really had that GCI feel.
Yeah,
you guys know what I mean.
Yeah, and the drop is really fun because if you're sitting in the back, for me, the reason I liked Outlaw better than Tornado is because Tornado's not bad if you sit in the front, but it is bad if you sit in the back. Outlaw's not that bad in the back. It's still fun. So I sat in pretty much towards the back, and you get whipped over the drop, and it's still not too rough.
It wasn't too bad at all. It was fun. It's my number 2 at the park, too.
Definitely.
But that brings us to our number 1, guys, and that is Monster. Now, this is, I think, Luke and Logan's. They now have 15 credits, and this is their both number 1s.
This thing is awesome. I love the drop. The lift hill's kind of weird, but
yeah, guys,
it's
we'll have
awesome.
some off-ride and some on-ride footage for you here, guys. It's amazing. So the lift hill's a little bit odd. I've never been on a lift hill that takes you straight up, but I have to say I love it.
So
I wasn't sure how I'd feel about it, but I do like it.
So Monster has a vertical lift hill and then a beyond vertical drop.
Yeah.
And then it has 5 inversions.
The 5 inversions are cool. And it's kind of cool how it kind of hangs you over them. And I, in my opinion, it looks like it hangs you longer in the POVs than it actually does in real life.
Yeah.
But it's still really fun. Extremely smooth, and if you are going to Adventureland, I would recommend sitting in the front row, far left seat.
Oh, definitely sit in front row, far left, because I sat in every seat in the front row, and I only sat in the back once. The back made me a little bit nauseous. I didn't like the back as much. The inversions didn't feel as smooth as they did in the front seat, but it was still a lot of fun in the back seat. I mean, it's still a 10 out of 10 roller coaster.
I did it in the back twice, and I was okay with it in the back. I think it felt pretty intense in the back, but I do prefer a front row ride, definitely.
Definitely do prefer a front row ride. It's a lot more smooth in the front, I'd say. The inversions feel they feel a lot more clean.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Monster, it's kind of your ride really changes depending on what seat you sit in. A lot of coasters, you sit in a few different seats and they're pretty similar ride experience. But on Monster, every seat gives you slightly different ride experience.
Yeah, and that is kind of a negative. I wish that every seat gave you the same experience, which is good. But, for example, if you sat on the far right in the front row, it was almost a lot more rough. And you didn't kind of get that hang time, the same kind of hang time you would if you sat on the far left of the ride.
But yeah, anyways, enough complaining about Monster. Monster's insane. It's a great ride, really smooth, really thrilling, takes up a lot of space, perfect for Adventureland.
A lot of fun.
And honestly, it's probably the only reason why we went to Adventureland. But yeah, in conclusion, Adventureland was a great park, and Monster was awesome. Outlaw was pretty good. All the other rides were not very good, but
yeah,
their coaster lineup might not be great, but it's a great park, and I think you guys should check it out.
Adventureland also had a good flat rides.
Yeah, they had some pretty good flat rides.
Yeah, the park is very family friendly. We did see the water park. We didn't play in it or anything, but we did see it, and it seemed pretty nice. It's kind of small, but it seemed nice. If you're definitely in the area, I recommend going. It's not the most expensive theme park either, which makes it kind of worthwhile.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. Staff there was good. I'd rate this park probably a B+, honestly. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you're new to our channel, please check out our last videos, review of Worlds of Fun and a review of the Alpine Coaster. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.